What is going on, Polestar fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. To be fully fair, Polestar has been kicking ass over the last little bit. So I want to give you a good breakdown of potentially what might be coming for Polestar, especially with the huge amount of institutions and what they're doing. I'm going to explain all of that. Before I get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. With that, let's get right to it. So hands down, I am so glad I got into Polestar. Average of $4.49. So looking at the low, it did hit a 52-week low of $4. So I am extremely happy with that. I know I haven't given as many updates with Polestar as I would like, so I'm definitely going to be changing that. So make sure you guys subscribe and all that fun stuff. In case you guys missed it, potentially, they had their first profitable quarter. So definitely a very good thing. They reiterated their 50,000 target for the end of the year. Over and above that, as of yesterday, they did deliver their 100th Polestar 2 EV. So definitely amazing stuff coming out of Polestar. Plain and simple, they're definitely proving doesn't matter in a higher interest rate environment, inflation, whatever it might be. They don't care. They're doing their job and they're really proving up to be a very good contender against Tesla. So my own interpretation, obviously, I'm not a financial advisor or anything. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. But clearly a lot of good things is coming for Polestar, enough so that Citibank did actually reiterate and give them a $12 price target. So clearly, given the circumstances of us being $7.87, clearly they even think that Polestar is extremely undervalued. And like I said at the very beginning, they've been plain and simple, probably the better EV to invest in over the last little bit. Just to give you a good breakdown of that. Of the month, just over 1 month ago, I'm comparing Tesla, Polestar, and Lucid. So in case you guys don't know, I do a lot of Lucid content as well, and also Mullen, but Mullen won't really show well on this chart. They've been doing very bad. But over the last 1 month, regardless, Polestar has been up 87.53%. Tesla's been down 19.57% and Lucid down almost 21%. So like I said, Polestar is just proving the whole economy wrong. They're doing exactly what we were expecting. And I knew fundamentally deep down, I know the price action wasn't really coinciding with potentially what they could do. So we were well undervalued. And I think the recent earnings did verify that as well. Over the last little bit, based on the 13Fs, a lot more institutions have been getting into Polestar. So you can see all the green right here, but a lot of big players did increase their position. So 33.26%. And keep in mind, all these transactions were in Q3. And so Q3 though, there was a ton of fear. There was almost every second article that was coming out was talking on a recession. And it wasn't necessarily just in the States, it was globally. And I think right now there's still a good level of fear right now. So I'm absolutely shocked. I'm so impressed with Polestar. This is why I think I was a little bit more late to the game as far as giving updates. But like I said, I'm going to definitely change that. When it comes down to Citi, I think they are a very good representation of what a lot of institutions are thinking about Polestar. So like I said, going back to this, I do anticipate when the latest round or the new round of 13Fs come down the pipeline in January, will all show a huge amount of institutional change. Even more so just based on Q3. Looking here, all the hedge funds had 209,000 call options. So in case you guys don't know any call options or what call options are, I highly suggest in researching them. They can be very, very profitable, especially more so if you do believe that the underlying stock or asset is very undervalued. So the fact that 209,000 call options were purchased from hedge funds in Q3. That is just mind-blowing. Even more so, all 13F filers, there was 3.3 million in Q3. So this is updated information, brand new, right for you guys. So definitely that is the most bullish information that I could potentially even give you guys right now. Over and above that, I know I've been saying that quite a lot, but over and above that, there's also this. I like to see ultimately ETFs. I always want my stocks that I do invest in just to have as much exposure, if you want to call it that, generally to the broader economy and not necessarily, like I said, just singly to the States. I want it globally, and I think Polestar is a very good representation of that. One of the purest plays for EVs, and I think they really even boast that as well. Tesla and Polestar are the only pure plays out there. And when it comes to that though, they've actually increased. So when I've last looked at this, roughly about a month and a half, almost 2 months ago, there was only 5 ETFs that held Polestar. And as you can see, 7. So definitely a very, very good thing moving forward. And I do anticipate once more updated information does come relevant to us, that a lot more institutions, ETFs are all really going to be backing up the bus with Polestar. And it does coincide exactly with the actual bump up in volume as well. So I do anticipate that coming down the pipeline. When it comes down to technicals, I'm a very big technicals fan. So looking on the actual chart, I have the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, and momentum. Stochastic, we are a little bit more overbought, and obviously it being 95 is relatively high. Momentum though, number of retail investors are getting in. And so when it came down to Polestar, so more specifically GDPI prior to the reverse merger, they were very, very hot with retail investors. Ever since the rollout, they kind of just diminished out. So hopefully enough so that this recent earnings really sparked the retail presence and willingness to get in. So definitely a very positive thing to look forward for that. On the actual chart, typically 9 times out of 10, when we do break outside the Bollinger Band, we do get pulled back in. That's just basically how the technicals work. But looking on the actual chart, we've held the higher percentile very well. So definitely a very positive thing. We did break over recently that 50-day moving average. So like I said, higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. We're also above the 100-day moving average. And most likely this week, if not early next week, we will be testing that 200-day moving average, which is $9.01. I know a lot of you will be like, wow, that's amazing, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. So given all the circumstances and all of that other jazz behind that, especially more so on their projections for 2023 for deliveries and so forth, a lot of people are starting to say that Polestar could easily be around the $15 mark. So most likely as well, piggybacking off of what Citibank just said, I do also anticipate a lot more analysts giving ratings on Polestar, especially with next week. So next week is a very interesting week. We do have a lot of good economic data that is coming out, more so in the States, that could give us a nice bump up generally. So I'm just going to go over some of those things with you guys. So as far as next week, this could be considered more so maybe the Super Bowl of weeks as far as economic data. Of course, like I said, when it comes down to Polestar, they're in a whole different ballgame because they have global exposure. Again, getting to that though, on Wednesday, we do have the non-farm employment change. So definitely goes to show and is linked to consumers. Consumers have been, for the most part, a very good component of the safety net of the economy. So they've been showing a lot of good strength. We do have GDP numbers that's also coming out that could give us a nice boost up. On Thursday, we do have PCE, which the Feds use as a very good indicator to determine interest rates, plain and simple. So a lot of people don't necessarily like CPI because of its heavy weighted to energy and things like that. And then also to piggyback off of that, Friday, we do have non-farm payroll. So once again, linked to that consumer aspect. But all in all, amazing things is coming for Polestar in its future, especially more so, like I said, with the 209,000 in call options being purchased by hedge funds in Q3, the amount of institutions getting in, both based on 13Fs, based on ETFs, and just based on overall the stats. So all in all, I am extremely happy with Polestar. Let me know your thoughts on Polestar in the comments below, and if you did take advantage of them potentially being below that $5 mark for, I believe it was give or take around 10 to 12 days or whatever it might be. So give yourself a shout out if you did catch the bottom, but regardless, let me know your thoughts on where you feel Polestar will be in 1 year from now. Like I said, Citi thinks it's around the $12 range. A lot of the general consensus does think it's going to be around the 15. Based on my interpretation, I could easily see around the 15 to 17 by the end of the 2023. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, your 2023 price target. Very curious on what people's thoughts are on that. So with all that, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. If you do like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Polestar.